AI educator who helps professionals and entrepreneurs enhance productivity and efficiency through strategic leadership and responsible AI adoption. As founder of Synergy Unlimited and an SBCC professor, she is pioneering a generative AI certificate that prepares students and small businesses to thrive in the future of work. Deborah, welcome.
Thank you.
And finally, Eric Egolf is CEO of CIO Solutions, a leading IT and cloud services company serving Central California. With over 2 decades of experience in technology management and cybersecurity, Eric helps businesses boost productivity and security through smart, scalable, and responsible use of AI. Eric, welcome to the stage. Hello. Is it working?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Good. I sound so soft to myself. Okay, great. Hey, thank you so much for being here. This is a great opportunity to learn from all of you, and we want to jump right into it. So let's get started with a cross-panel warm-up question. And to kick things off, can each of you share a quick story, just a snapshot of your business and the first time you used AI and realized, wow, this could really change the way you work and the most valuable outcome that you've experienced from AI so far? Deborah, would you like to start?
Sure. My company is Synergy Unlimited. I've been in business this is my 28th year, can't believe it. We do training on leadership topics like team building, overcoming burnout, and now AI integration. The first time that I used AI was becoming a student after 25 years, and I wasn't used to reading all these papers and writing all these papers. I was like, how am I going to do this? And I realized that I was neurodivergent and never diagnosed when I was in school. It was very difficult for me to learn by just reading a book. And then I realized there was an AI tool called Speechify, and it would read me my books in the voice of my voice, or Snoop Dogg, or Gwyneth Paltrow, or whoever I wanted to listen to. And it also matched the speed of my brain, because I don't know about you, but my brain operates very quickly, and I was able to speed up the reading. And so when I would go to class, I would be prepared because I could understand the reading. Another AI tool that helped me with school is Notebook LM by Google. It's a free AI tool. And I was able, and I need to do this tonight when I leave here because I have school tomorrow, 8 to 5. I put all my readings, including the articles, the videos, the websites, and it creates all of my materials into a podcast. And I can specifically look at the syllabus, what does my professor want me to learn, and specify how I want the information to be communicated. It creates a video, it creates a mind map, it creates flashcards, and I feel much more prepared to go to class, and has been a total game changer.
Yes, thank you. Any Notebook LM users out there? Yes, big fans? Yeah, agreed. It's an amazing tool. Thank you, Deborah. So Eric, would you like to go?
Yeah, what was that question again here?
Yeah. Basically, what was that aha moment?
Yeah,
right?
so one of the things, so we're about 100 employees, and one of the things we do is when users have problems with their computer, or employees, they email us in to fix, and we might get 600 emails a month, and we have about 60 hours a week that someone is looking at these emails and looking at 30 some odd resources internally and assigning them. So we call that triaging. And it's pretty manual, and you gotta look, well, who's got a lot of tickets currently, and who's actually here, who's not on vacation, and things of that nature. So we put in a system that helped look at the email, look who's busy, and auto-assign it, and freed up that resource to really expand his career in another department. but really taking this laborious 600 times a week, every week for 8 years. This was his role. He really wanted to get out of it. Good on him for doing it for so long, but it allowed him to move on to another department and use his knowledge of that function and really help excel another department in what they were doing. So we call that kind of an auto triage system.
Yeah. Nice. Great to hear how your business is using that. Yeah, great. Okay, Casey, how about you?
So my aha moment probably came about 2 years ago, but it was after I had graduated from grad school down in San Diego with a degree in basically data science, and I did what most people with that degree would do, and I started a real estate practice. So I joined a practice with my brother Sean, and I did not really enjoy it so much, being an introvert, door knocking, networking events, all those things. But I did like the marketing, and I did like learning how to generate leads using automation tools such as email automation, etc. Then, a couple years into real estate, I started this company, MyLink Solution, which is effectively an automation tool that reaches out to potential prospects on LinkedIn on a regular basis and tries to get them to engage and then set appointments for a real estate consultation, which is great. Automation is good, but it also requires a lot of work on the realtor side to be on LinkedIn on a regular basis to then reply to those messages as they're coming in, and what are they gonna do with them? They gotta put them into their CRM. They have to do so much more. When AI came around, that was my big aha moment, because now I didn't have to be the expert in the niche that I was providing services for. I would just be able to train an AI assistant or an AI agent to be the expert in said company. So now you just train the model, learn about the company, talk to the client, see what their goals are, set things up, automate it, and then the AI takes over from there. So my big aha moment was basically like the market research and the intelligence that it has, and how that applies to everything.
Yeah. Thank you. So Eric, let's go back to you. So we talked about, personal aha moments, but let's get into you and your vantage point leading CIO solutions. What's the top way that you see businesses that you work with using AI right now to improve productivity or efficiency in IT, security, or cloud services? Could you walk us through an example?
Yeah, sure. So I kind of break this up into two parts. The first part is, how does an individual take their current job and make themselves more efficient? And what we try to do is really crowdsource it. Like, how do we make it acceptable for someone to share what they've learned? And so, like, in our monthly staff meetings, we have a corner where people are saying, hey, I tried this thing over here and it worked really well, and then that kind of pivots and creates a collaboration and discussion. And so there's that sort of, how do I make it take my job and be more productive? And to your point on the model, that requires knowing the context of your job. I can't actually tell someone how to use AI with their job without sitting down. So we're really trying to create this collaborative environment where people are exploring and sharing. The second thing that's coming is what in the industry they call this agentic model. So how do I take small little tasks, like I said, that are recreatable, they're very well defined, and then how do I make an AI agent that can do those tasks, and hopefully freeing people up for the things that they were ignoring that they should have done, but the monotony of the existing task kind of kept them in the weeds. And so really exploring the business processes and how AI agents can optimize a lot of the monotony.
Great. Thank you. I can hear myself better now. Thank you, Luke. Great. Yes. Thank you, Eric. Okay, Casey, you have built an AI-powered platform to automate LinkedIn outreach. How does this help small businesses save time without losing that human connection with customers? What kinds of results and in terms of time saved or sales, what do you see happening?
Yeah, so after lots of trial and error, which comes with any entrepreneurial endeavor. There's a lot of trial and error, a lot of failures before you succeed. I eventually was able to get the feedback from my clients saying that, hey, I don't want an AI acting as me on LinkedIn. And I was like, that makes sense. Okay, well, let's see if I can fix that. So again, trial and error. I eventually created what's called a custom GPT. Some of you may know what that is, but it basically interviews you based on the standard kind of personality kind of questions. It can also analyze a transcript of one of your calls you had recently with a teacher or a coach or whoever, and it'll then kind of give you a snippet of information that you have put into the instructions that then makes it sound more like you. So we can kind of humanize each AI assistant way better now. And we also have learned to say it's absolutely necessary to not ever include an M dash. Everybody knows that an M dash is a dead giveaway for AI. So if you're using it to write papers and there's an M dash in there, I guarantee you your teacher's gonna find out. So yeah, that's kind of how I personalize it, and then and then saving times. And so effectively, what it eventually does is it acts like the person, so the person doesn't have to be on LinkedIn 24/7 trying to respond to people, saving them hours on follow-up, and it's generating probably between 5 and 15 qualified appointments a month. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Thank you for that. And just by the way, was there anybody here that used M dashes before AI came along? Yes, I learned it in my communications course. It's like how to use the M dash and the N dash, right? And I'm like, wait, this is me. Yeah, it was good. Okay, so Deborah, in your work with small business owners, what is the most common area where they apply AI? So what outcomes are they aiming for? What kind of productivity gains do they see on average? How long does it take to see that?
Yeah, so I do marketing consulting for the Economic Development Collaborative and Women's Economic Ventures. I don't know if anyone's here from those organizations. And I work with a lot of startup small businesses that are wanting to test to see if their concept is viable or not. And one of the first things that we do in our 8-week boot camp is really get clarity on their unique value proposition. How do they stand out from other businesses? And what I realized was I was able to create custom GPTs, like you did, to help them come up with their UVP, to help them identify who is my ideal target market for this business. And that just streamlined the process so fast. We also created a GPT for their competitive analysis so they could see what was different about their business from other businesses, and it has been a complete game changer. And I think the most overwhelming thing for small businesses in the Santa Barbara Chamber, you can tell me if I'm wrong, is the overwhelming of everything that we have to do. We're the CEO, the COO, the CTO, now we're the CAIO. There's just so many hats that we have to wear, and having AI as a tool to help with the digital marketing strategy so you know where to put your time and energy. To have AI help with the content strategy so you're not just putting things out there and hoping that they'll stick. It's really, I think, one of the most amazing tools for small businesses, because you're able, like Eric said, to delegate the tasks that you find mundane and not interesting, so you can get out there and network, you can get out there and do the business development and innovation that you enjoy doing.
Thank you for that. And let me follow up with, a lot of times just getting started, can be so challenging. So how long, like if people are putting in a daily, effort into it, do you find that business owners are able to get some traction quickly, or does it take a while? It's good to have a realistic view of it.
It really depends on how bad you want it. Because I always say, people are like, well, how long is it going to take for me to be profitable? Results may vary, right? Like the commercials. I had one client that literally, I gave her all of the tools and forever she was going back, second guessing, letting the imposter syndrome take over. I had another client who leaned into using all the AI tools and within 4 months had her business website up and running, ready to invoice. So it really depends on the person.
And kind of their drive and
Yeah.
commitment to it. Okay, yeah, perfect. All right, let's switch gears. Let's get into workforce readiness and AI literacy. And we'll begin with a cross-panel question. On a scale from 1 to 10, from your perspective, how important is AI literacy for today's workforce? We looked at the Digital Education Council framework there, as an overview of AI literacy. How important is it today, on a scale from 1 to 10, in today's workforce? And where are some business owners right now? Are they exploring? Are they mostly implementing? Or are they leading with AI? Where do you find most business owners? And why do you think that is? Yeah. So do you want to go, Casey? Yeah.
Sure, yeah, so it's definitely a 10. I mean, and I'll speak for everyone here. It's a 10 out of 10. You need to start having AI literacy. I think right now the business community is transitioning from exploring to implementing. Last year, if you asked me that question, I'd say they'd be exploring, but I've seen a lot of other companies that I work with, that are not just using like some of our services for AI, but they're also using other consultants to implement different kind of workflows across support in different areas of their business. So they are implementing in a very big way. And one other thing I noticed too is that it's not necessarily them in-house doing it, although that is a big push, but it's also them just bringing in contractors, bringing in consultants, bringing in coaches to help them do it.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Eric?
Yeah, I have a counter position than Casey. So we actually see it as probably a 1 out of 10, which is completely counter. And I think for us, I know, we still look at it from, do they have the aptitude? So it's AI aptitude, not literacy, because so you want someone who is able to learn. The thing is shifting very, very quick. I mean, 6 months ago, the models were completely different than today. So I don't know that we have any interview questions other than your aptitude and desire to learn and your flexibility to not get caught in the old way of thinking. So that's on the individual level. On the business level, it still feels like in the infancy of exploration. And what we find is in these companies, there's pockets of people exploring. And that's what we try to encourage, because there needs to be people and champions in the organization that are learning and exploring and showing other people. Because if there's someone who's in an organization that has no literacy, to take someone in a different position that's not directly in their business and try to explain it doesn't always work because we don't have the right words. But when you take someone who works next to them and knows the job at hand and then can explain it, it sticks better. So we still think it's in a pretty early infancy. And the other pattern that we're seeing in the business is there's a lot of business owners that have a lot of FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Yeah.
They're not actually behind, but there's a ton of fear of missing out. And what AI is driving that is super good for businesses is they're re-looking at their processes. Oftentimes those could have been solved 10 years ago with technology, not even AI. So the FOMO in AI is saying, can we be more productive? That leads to an exploration of what things they could do, and AI is not always the answer, there might be other tools. But that's super healthy for a business to actually reevaluate, are we doing things that aren't modernized? So that's kind of the way we see it in the small business side. Sorry for the 1.
I like your answer better.
It's good, the difference in perspectives there. Yeah, it's valuable. So Deborah, where are you going to be on this? Don't say 5.
I say 10. But I'm a marketer and an AI educator and an AI advocate. There's a lot of fear, and we'll talk about this later, about AI taking jobs. I really My belief is it's not the AI that's taking jobs, it's people that have the skill and the talent to know what to do and what not to do with AI that could impact jobs. When I meet with small business owners, I'm meeting with very small business owners. So the Small Business Development Center, just a plug for the EDC, it's free, prepaid by your tax dollars. You can get amazing consultants that will help you launch your small business. They're a partner with us today. I'm grateful. They were the ones that introduced me to Santa Barbara City College. But the small businesses I work with, they have an idea, they have a vision. And right now, especially you young people from San Marcos, it is the best time to be an entrepreneur because you have the tools that will enable you to grow and scale if you know how to use them. But a lot of entrepreneurs are using AI tools the wrong way. They're overusing them. They're having them replace their human thinking and brain. And when you use it like that, you lose trust. If you're just taking information from AI and pasting it on a resume or pasting it on your social media, you're gonna tune out your client or customer. So that's why the importance of AI literacy and competency, and that's why we teach it here at Santa Barbara City College. Come to our class, extended learning.
Yeah, yes, this is what, this topic about, is AI gonna take over all of our jobs eventually, and what is the trajectory of that? And it seems like, from what I've been hearing, just as a side note, is that the part of the game is to recognize where you're doing things that are a repetitive pattern, because that's a target that can easily be replaced by AI. But to what Deborah and Eric were saying, really being able to use the output from AI in a creative way that really presses for a company, in competitive directions, that's where you become more AI proof, and really working that edge, whether you're in a job or your own business. So I really appreciate those points that you made. Okay. Great, let's move on to the next one, Eric. So employers asking for AI skills are asking for AI skills more and more. From your perspective, what are the top 1 or 3 skills that employees need to start developing right now to be AI ready, whether they are in IT or business or any other field?
Yeah, I've got a slight slant just because I'm in technology, but I think what stays consistent that isn't always developed is I call this understanding the data. Where's the data coming from? How could I access it? And it's not necessarily like computer science per se, but it is not being scared of spreadsheets and databases and understanding them at maybe not a cursory level, but not a deep level. And so that is super important. The next skill is something I think that has always been hard to find out of school, is this like systems thinking. So when AI starts doing your tasks, you need to kind of oversee it, and you need to know across systems what the outcome should have been, so you can catch mistakes, just like you would oversee a human. So being able to kind of take a step back and understand, I am now overseeing this AI, and I'm responsible for its results, and it should be doing X, Y in this system, and Z, X in this other system, and understanding that. And so, what we feel as employers is actually that our role is going to change and having to give more education. So normally, if we look at the world now, it's like, how do we get someone to get up to speed as fast as possible? That's usually the goal. You're going to hire someone, you don't want them sitting around for 4 months not adding value. And so the question becomes, well, maybe we're going to have to extend our training and teach them the systems so that they can then oversee the AI. So I think there's a little bit of a burden that's going to shift to the employer and how we train them over time, personal opinion. So.
Yeah, interesting. Deborah?
The question?
Oh, this is, sorry. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Here we are. Students worry about AI replacing jobs. Yeah. How do you help them reframe AI as a collaborator and partner And could you share your best example of how you do that?
Yes, I'm very passionate about students, being a professor and an educator, and before I was a marketing consultant, I was a career counselor. And one of the things that I would always coach my students on when they were thinking about the job market was not to think about the job title, but to think about their transferable skills. All of you sitting here have unique talents, skills, and abilities. You have life experiences, you've overcome challenges, problems that no one else has, right? And no AI can take that away from you. Your problem solving, your decision-making skills, your intuitive abilities. This is something that you have that's intrinsic that I highly doubt AI will ever be able to replicate. So as students, you need to lean in and to understand your strengths. One of the books that I highly recommend is called Strength Finders 2.0. You can get it on Amazon. It will tell you your 5 best strengths. The second thing you need to do as students is to learn how to communicate those strengths. Because the biggest challenge and frustration that you'll have looking for jobs, and I know I had this because as a small business owner, sometimes you think, should I get a job? Because you don't get a paycheck. You have to create it through your tools, right? So every once in a while, I'll think, should I get a job, like during the pandemic? And I would send a resume, and guess what? Even with a master's degree, 30 years experience, I wouldn't get an interview. Do you know why? Because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's why I applaud you for being here today. Because you're meeting people, you're shaking hands, you're connecting with people, and connect with people you don't know so that you can let them know what your talents are, what your skills are. And when you do that, you'll have opportunities. So it's really important for transferable skills. I'll give you one quick example. My former husband, Deras, talented man. He was working as a black and white printer back in the olden days when we had photographs. And people used to go to a lab and they would print them and we would get a picture. Whoa. And then guess what happened? Innovation. Because that's what happens in life. We change, we grow, we expand. It's innovation. So his career could have been over. And I asked him, husband, what are your talents? And he's like, well, I'm creative. I'm like, well, you're also very patient and empathetic because you're with me. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And so I was like, well, that's transferable skills. And so I recommended him for a job at, one of my professors was an executive director for a nonprofit, and they had a program teaching art to abused kids. I recommended my wonderful husband, and he got that job, worked there for 25 years before he retired. Right? So it's not that jobs are going to be gone and taken away. Job titles, there are a lot of positions that are going to change and transform, but what can never be taken away is your intrinsic skills and talents. What you need to know is what they are, be able to powerfully communicate them, and then get out. I know you're not gonna like this, from behind your computer of sending resumes and get into networking groups. That's where I met Eric, at a Ventec networking event, right? Connect with people and then you'll be able to have opportunities.
Oh, amen.
Passionate about that.
Serious.
Thank you for that. Okay, Casey, for small businesses and entrepreneurs, adopting AI can feel overwhelming. And if someone here wanted to start small with AI, but still see a meaningful productivity payoff, what's the first step you'd recommend? Something that's low lift, but high payoff?
Yeah, gosh, there's lots of different entry points that I could recommend, but I think, at least personally, one of the hardest things about learning AI has been learning the use cases. Like, what am I gonna use this for? Like, how can this apply to my business? How can this help me solve this challenge? And I still struggle with that. So I join all kinds of webinars and go through all kinds of coaching classes, and I learn as much as I can. Not so much because I want to like read the course material, because I want to listen to the questions of the people that are in the same webinars, asking questions that I want to hear answers to. But to get there, I think the first entry would be learning how to ask questions, aka prompting, right? And prompting is, in my opinion, the most important skill to learn when you're learning AI, because it's the building block. It's like you're learning how to learn. It's a meta skill. And I mean, many of us are, thinkers. We think critically, right? And so you can have an idea and you have to put in the time to think about what sort of output you want the AI to provide. So before any of that, you want to think critically and then put into what I call that like a prompt generator. There's lots of them out there online. You can find them. ChatGPT has them. You can get one if you scan my code. You think critically about what you want first, and then it generates a prompt that you can then just copy and paste into another chat, and then it'll give you a much better response. So, I mean, prompt engineering, learning how to prompt, ask questions.
Great. Thank you, Casey. And I wanted to prompt everyone, speaking about prompts, that we're going to start taking some audience questions. And let me see. Let's see. There we go. Thank goodness it just populated. I was like, I have a blank page. Okay, so let's go with this one. For Casey, Graham asks, how should students think about using AI to help them think critically instead of letting it think for them? Good question.
So that is a great question, and I know you're passionate about it as well. And I'm going to say I learned the hard way, right? It is so easy to put into any model and say, give me ideas around this, and it'll give you ideas. And then it gives you too many ideas. And then you kind of choose one and you wanted to break it down a little bit more. And then it breaks it down way too deeply. And you're like, oh my gosh, now I'm even more confused than ever. And I feel like all of that over prompting and over kind of stimulation for your brain is not good. And I think to a certain extent, it reduces your ability to think critically. So that's why on my last response, I was saying to really think deeply about what your end goal is, of what you're trying to achieve, and then kind of strategize yourself, not even using AI. Make a plan. Think critically on how you see this coming out. How many prompts? So prompt training is something that's a pretty common term. It may not just be one prompt, it may be multiple prompts. You may want to use the results from this prompt into the next one, and so you have to kind of storyboard it, and don't lose it, because I guarantee you, if you just start asking ChatGPT or any model for answers, it'll give you answers, but they won't help you, and it'll actually kind of start to deteriorate your humanness. In fact, I'm changing my logo. Or my tagline from my company. It used to be scale smarter, not harder. But now it's going to be think critically, act consciously.
Ooh, I love that.
Yes, that's good. Okay. Yeah, great. Thank you, Casey. Okay, let's see. For Eric, Luca asks, how will knowing AI positively affect my career?
Well, I think knowing AI isn't, the goal is to be a productive employee so that the employee can then recognize you, and they can recognize you in monetary ways or title ways. But AI can help you be more productive as a tool. So depending on what job you have, the application and understanding how that might make you more productive. But there might be other things you need to be more productive. Maybe you're not that great at typing and that becomes important and you have to learn keyboarding skills. So to me, the aptitude to learn AI is really related to your aptitude and drive to help the business that you're in. And it's just a truth that AI will be a really important skill in that journey. So I think it's how do you add value as an employee to the job and use the drive, aptitude, and skills that you're given, as Deborah was saying, of like the strength finder skills, and then that aligns, you're going to be a very good employee. And it just so happens AI is going to be a core skill, just like keyboarding was a core skill 20 years ago and they started teaching in school. So that's.
Great, thank you, Eric. Let's see, for Deborah, Ray asks, what can we do to make AI safe, just, and ethical?
That was actually going to be, that was going to be my next point that I was going to bring up. One of the things in the AI certificate program here at Santa Barbara City College, we have a whole focus on bias, ethics, and some of the legal limitations, because one of the things we need to realize about AI is that it is biased, right? I asked it the other day, can you give me an image of a successful CEO? And it gave me a white male. And I said, can you give me another image of a group of successful CEOs? And it gave me 3 white males. I was like, okay. So you have to understand that the data is trained off of the data on the internet. And if society is biased, AI is biased. So we have to be aware of that, the limitations of that. When it comes to privacy, I had an amazing cybersecurity speaker come to speak to our class. And he was like basically saying, unless you develop your own large language model, like your own ChatGPT, it is not private. It's like how people said, you put something on social media, even if it's Snapchat or whatever disappearing thing, it's out there. So we want to use our critical thinking, our judgment. If we don't want something to be out there, don't put it on AI, right? So it's like logical thinking. But ChatGPT has a mechanism where you can turn off that it's allegedly, I say allegedly because who knows what's really happening, but it's allegedly not using your data to train, but it's still on the server. The cybersecurity is like, it's still living on their server at OpenAI, and who knows what's happening with it. So we need to be aware of that, right? We also need to be, especially my young entrepreneurs, we need to be aware of any images that you create with AI. You don't own that. You can't go to the copyright. I had, my 2 best friends are trademark and copyright intellectual property attorneys. And when I started using AI, they had all these disclosures they wanted me to say. They're like, oh no, Deborah. So say you wrote a book, right? This is a book that I wrote. I'm writing a new book. And I had DALL-E of ChatGPT make the most beautiful cover. Guess what? I can't use that, right? It's like if you go to buy something at Ross, let's say, and I buy a dress, and then my friend Sloan wears the same dress, I can't say, oh, I own that dress. I didn't have it designed for me. So we have to realize if we create any graphics using AI, we don't own it. Somebody else could have that same logo. So we need to be aware of that and the limitations. So AI is great as a tool, but the attorney that came to class says it's not the truth. It often hallucinates, makes stuff up very realistically, and it's like, whoa, I do not have that degree. It was saying I had some degree. I'm like, not that I know of, okay? So we have to make sure that we check it, and that's where critical thinking, judgment, discernment comes in.
Perfect. Yes, well said, agreed. So we're gonna switch gears here. And actually, I'm gonna ask the audience to do your own Q&A with your neighbor next to you, a shoulder partner. Okay, and what I would like you to ask is, from everything that you've heard today, what is one thing that you're going to move forward this week in terms of your own AI literacy and development. Okay? Quick, 2 minutes, go.
I'm just gonna go start. I'm just gonna go get it and start using it. I'm getting clear about why I'm save time, save money, make more money in less time. Just all the work that I should have done. How about yourself?
I actually like what Casey said. He talked about prompt engineering.
Yeah.
The reverse engineering. Totally.
Getting good at those things.
Yeah, getting into prompt.
You put shit in, you get shit out. The quality improvement.
And then the other thing is also I wanted to really focus on really for my business. I do not from I don't need to do all the things that others are doing. I focus on what I'm doing. Who my target audience is, business, client, higher. However, I have a side desire to talent, so I have a separate for higher talent operating
Okay, perfect. And coming back here.
We're in class again.
Okay, great. Well, okay, so I'd like to share with you a commitment, and I'm wondering if you're interested in this commitment. So we've been working with the Chamber and the Small Business Development Center, the Economic Development Collaborative, and we are very committed to creating these opportunities where students and business leaders and educators and employees come together and we're able to learn and talk alongside each other. We really feel in our community here in Santa Barbara that we need these collective conversations and coming around so many things, but AI is just a really good excuse to do that, because how do we move forward? Not with, this is moving so quickly, how does any one of us, like, sitting behind our computer be like, okay, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm like at the cutting edge of AI, right? It's not gonna, we need to work together. And so that's the reason why this AI Unlocked is a 3-part series, right? We wanted to do not just one where you come and you leave and it's like, well, that was good, and what is the next thing, next rodeo with AI, but like, let's come together again. So we did these with 2 weeks in between. Our next one is on October 24th, and we're gonna have startup founders. I'm not gonna tell you who they are right now. You are gonna get your amazing toolkit. I hope you RSVP'd if you didn't talk to me out when we're enjoying empanadas, because I'm gonna send you a toolkit with a sneak peek to the people who are going to be joining us here again, same time, same bat time, same bat place. 2 weeks from now on the 24th, okay? And we want to do this again, and we hope you will come and you will invite others that need to be here in the room. We need to do this together here in Santa Barbara County. I am counting on you. Please help us to get that survey out there, because we're gonna do another really fun thing with that on the 3rd one, on November 7th, okay? So let's get that good data, let's work on this together, and I guess we're going to go with, I know you wanna get out to the empanadas, so we're just gonna have one closing, forward-looking question. So, to all of our panelists, if you could give one piece of advice to our audience, students, business leaders, educators, employees, about preparing to thrive in an AI-empowered future, what would it be? Casey, would you like to start?
Sure. So, I probably do this a little bit too much, but I will often text my friends, call my parents, call my brothers, and be like, hey, how are you using AI? Like, what are you doing? They go, we're not really using it. well, what are you doing? So I want to kind of see, I want to get a pulse on like what they're doing with it. And more times than not, they're saying like, I'm not using it at all. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. Well, first of all, you gotta be kind of careful because there's gonna be some what's it called, fakes, some deep fakes coming around, and don't worry, I'm not gonna be asking for money, because so you wanna know about it just so you can at least prepare for the future. But then I kind of try and dig a little deeper. I'm like, well, what sort of challenges are you, like, what are you doing throughout the day? Like, what are you working on? I guarantee you tell me like a few things that you're working on and I can provide you with 10 ways you can use AI to help that become easier or more effective or more efficient. And like, do you have any business ideas? Do you have any work problems? Do you have any social problems? Do you have any like philosophical, religious, spiritual problems? Like, it's limitless. And so my kind of, if I'm gonna proclamation of if I'm gonna kind of announce anything, it's to be insatiably curious and to not just kind of put your head in the sand because you think that it might be too hard. In fact, I heard a story recently of an owner of a business who was trying to get his employees to learn how to use AI in his workplace. And one person came back a week later and he asked her how she's doing, and he goes, well, she says, I'm still working on the prompt. And another person was like, oh yeah, I've already built all these things. But don't be so afraid of it. And the reason why I think people oftentimes don't use it because like they think that it's so serious. They think that anything they put into ChatGPT is going to be like understood and like read by Sam Altman or something. It's not. I just start playing with it and be curious. Like, you know, think about your prompts, but don't like overanalyze it either. You know, just I don't know. Be insatiably curious. Think about any problem that you're having in your life or in your workplace or whatever, and I guarantee you AI can help you with it. So just kind of keep moving that forward.
Thank you, Casey. Deborah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Casey, I think that would be a great shirt. Be insatiably curious. Let's sell it. Okay. New marketing idea. So if you already are using AI and you love it, my advice to you is not to become overly reliant on it, right? So you want to use it, but not abuse it. You want to still use your power of discernment, your problem solving, making sure everything's running through the most powerful intelligence that you have, which is right here. Everybody tap it, right here. That's your most powerful intelligence. If you are scared of AI, I absolutely agree with you. I didn't put the insatiable on it, but I like it. I say to pretend like you're a 3-year-old with an iPad, right? So be curious, but be careful, right? So you want to be careful. So curiosity with being careful and cautious is a good balance of AI. Moving forward for all of you with AI is I want you to consider it to be your thought partner. My company is all about synergy, so you want to use it to help you be more efficient. Maybe make a let go list of everything, all the tasks that you're doing that are mundane and redundant, and that's going to be the let go list to be curious how AI can do that for you. Okay, so because we have to delegate to elevate, right? Then the next thing that is very important for you to do is to lean in to the power of your intuition. You have a gut. One of the things that my mentor, who lives here in Montecito, Oprah Winfrey, billionaire woman, business owner, and she said that one thing that the only time she didn't make money is when she didn't trust her intuition. And that's something AI doesn't have that you do have. So I want you to partner the synergy between the efficiency of AI with the power of your intuition, and then you're going to be unstoppable.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so to just add on to try to talk about another option, podcasts There's so many great podcasts on YouTube, and you can match it at your level, whether you want to know the economics and the supply chain side, or you want to just know the tools for something that you like to do, but try to match passion, find great podcast people you can watch, and then that'll kind of navigate you and have you understand more that you can then research on your own. And then the second one, there's this thing called vibe coding. Anyone here is a coder or likes to build things but doesn't know how to code? Check out like a Lovable product is one of them, and try to build your own cool little app, and that'll actually teach you in another way. But again, that would have to be something you're already passionate about.
Perfect. That was great. Let's give our panelists so honored that you take time out of your busy work days for us. Now, wait, one thing. Here, I would really like to encourage you to interact with somebody that you don't know. And here's the question. It was perfect, Eric. Thank you. What is a resource, a podcast, an article, somebody you follow, something that you've really enjoyed? Ask the person, what is it that you have been connecting with around AI that you really like? Share some resources. And four last things: mushroom, cheese, chicken, and potato. The potato is vegan. Those are the 4 different types of empanadas out there. Please enjoy. Thank you, everyone.
Stop it.